Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sasha if you're new here. So I was meditating this morning. I was just spending some time with myself, working on feeling at home in my body because we're all souls, just renting these human flesh suits. And I feel like it's so important to go within and make that a priority. It's going to grant you peace. It's going to give you clarity and just insight into your heart, into your mind. Be at peace with yourself and just see what's going on in there. Tap in. It is so powerful and I highly recommend it. And I receive downloads often from my higher self, from God, from the universe, just things that the spirit realm wants me to become aware of, as we're on this life journey and just evolving. Today, I want to talk to us about how we can turn self-hate into self-empowerment. Okay, and this is such a deep thing, you guys. A lot of people feel, when we talk about self-hate, which we don't talk about it enough, in my opinion, because it can be a scary subject. It can feel a little bit intimidating. Nobody wants to feel like they hate themselves or they don't like themselves. Let's talk about why we might feel some self-hate and then how to turn that into self-empowerment, because you guys, I definitely believe in the power of alchemy and the power of just turning ugly situations into good. I feel like that's part of our life experience. That's part of learning and growing while we're here on earth. And while I was meditating, I had this idea come into my mind, into my heart, that just made me realize that God, our source, God is experiencing itself through all of us. Okay, and so we may each look different or be different, but we all stem from one. The truth is oneness, right? So one source, one God, and God lives within us. So there's a bunch of us. There's so many of us, but we're all connected because it's God in all of us. I've heard Dolores Cannon speak about this on a video. If I can find it, I'll link it down below. She was like a hypnotherapist who interviewed in a way or worked with so many people and was able to like tap into their subconscious and like speak to their spirit and just gave her insight into the other side, if you will. But yeah, so she describes God as like, picture it as like a rainbow or like a ray of light that has broken up into a lot of different pieces, and that's how we can think of one another. And so if you are a piece of God, this means you are divine, okay? And it is so silly to see someone else and not recognize that this is just another you in another body. Okay, and so we're all mirrors of one another. We're all reflections of one another. We're all different versions of one another. And God loves variety. Look at the plants. Look at the flowers, look at the animals, the foods. The pineapple is not jealous of the mango. The blueberry is not, intimidated by a strawberry. Like, we each have our own greatness. We are individuals and we're unique in the sense of like different talents, different interests, different things to share with the world. But, at our core, at our essence, we're connected and there's a ripple effect. We all have value. We all are important. We all matter. And it's humans through our ego who have created division and separateness. We've created the concept of race instead of recognizing that we're all one race, which is human. We've created countries instead of recognizing that we're all inhabiting Mother Earth, which is alive. Nobody can own the earth because we did not create the earth. Earth is alive and should be respected as very much a part of God, just like we each are. So to see yourself separate from another person, or to see yourself separate from the earth or separate from the animals, everything we do has a ripple effect. If you hate somebody else, it's like you're hating yourself. And so when we talk about self-hate, where does this stem from? This stems from us feeling that separateness that we've created as a people. We've said, oh, they look different than us. One is better than the other. Or this land belongs to me, and I'm going to invade their land and force, like, we're not recognizing that if God lives in all of us, then how can you hate someone else without hating yourself or hating God? So the truth is love, the truth is connectedness, and we've just forgotten this. When you tap in, you will realize these things, but we're born into a world that teaches us to hate one another, and it's been done on purpose. And in essence, that leads us to hate ourselves because, for example, I'll use the fact of me growing up in America being African American, okay? The first things that I was taught about my history when I was a little kid in school is that my ancestors, I stemmed from slavery. So that automatically makes someone feel inferior, or like I'm so lucky just to have my freedom, just to be seen as an equal, because before I was seen as 3/5 of a person. Okay, so that is going to create problems because it's going to make all the Black kids feel like inferior, and then that can make all the white kids feel superior, when the truth of the matter is everybody stemmed from Africa. That's where all life stemmed from. And this is not an opinion, this is a fact, but it was hidden on purpose. And it's not about an ego thing about who started the civilizations and where life stemmed from. It's important to recognize it because it will diminish the self-hate when you recognize your power. These things are taught to us on purpose because then we're going to be so busy fighting with one another that we're going to forget the truth of oneness. We can use our differences to learn from one another. We can use our differences and see them as beautiful. All eye colors are beautiful. All hair textures are beautiful. All cultures have beauty in them. It's not about superiority. It's about incorporating and coming together. And when we do this, when we recognize these things, it's going to bring so much more peace on earth, so much more love on earth. There would be no wars on earth, because how can you go and kill another human? That's a soul. That's someone's son or daughter who's divine and another version of you. How could you go and do that when you recognize these things? You're fighting for a country that is willing to send you to die. For what? For your people, but we're all part of one people. There are no countries. Again, this is done by design to separate us. When we are separated, when we are in fear of one another, it's easier for us to be controlled and told what to do and not know our power, feel self-hate and hate one another, fight one another, be in competition with one another. The truth is oneness. The truth is unity, and not just with one another, but with all life. Once you recognize the earth is alive, we will stop destroying the earth, killing the trees, polluting the oceans, spraying chemicals as if we are just running the show, instead of recognizing that it's a blessing to be able to inhabit earth. Earth is healing us. Earth is allowing us, giving us a place to live. We are all renters on earth. So therefore, no land belongs to you. You don't have to kill anybody for the land because you are just temporarily here. So it doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to the government. It belongs to all of us because we were born into it, and then we're going to pass on. So since we didn't make it, we don't own it. Why would you be willing to go die for it, or say my country, my government? Just see these things for what they are. Lies we've been told. No race is better than another, is less than another. We're all one race. When you realize that you are a god or a goddess, when you realize that God lives within, then you feel empowered. You come to know thyself. You recognize you're eternal, you're immortal. You are a soul just inhibiting a body for this life journey. You know, we're all made of energy, light, the things that we're literally divine. So we're not powerless. We're not insignificant. Self-hate is something that's important to recognize and then see, okay, where did it stem from? Wow, it stemmed from the illusion of separateness. It stemmed from me being told that I was worth nothing and that I'm just should be happy just to be here and I should. We are not less than anyone else. No one is better than us. We're not better than other people. You know, we are all one people. We are all gods and goddesses. So I want you to feel empowered, recognize your divinity, and know that you're so much more than how you look. You're more than your physical appearance. You're more than where you're from or even the cultures that you stem from. You're more than that. They can be beautiful things, but you're more than that. You're a soul, and we need to bring more love on the planet. We need to embody more love for one another, more compassion. And when you learn to love yourself, it's going to be easier to love others. So yes, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Let's respect our differences, learn from one another instead of hating one another. We've, as people, let our egos move in division for far too long, and it's created so many problems. How much money you have, your social class, your race, your culture, your language, your religious background, your sexual orientation, your political ideas. Do not let these things come in between you and your fellow human being enough to create hate or a sense of inferiority within yourself. There's this book that the brilliant Ralph Smart introduced to me, The Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization. This is a powerful book, and I will link it below. But it's just really beautiful because, like I said, having been educated in America, the very first things we're taught about our history as Black people is that, oh, we're slaves, and that's where it started. And there's a whole part of history that has been intentionally left out. And I say intentionally because, again, it's not just Black people who have been made to feel inferior, it's all people. And I even have family that's white, and there's a sense of guilt, like, okay, well, our people did this to their people. And again, we're all one people. So these things are being taught to us to hate ourselves and hate one another, and it's just time to break free of this. It's time to evolve. It's time to know who we really are, which are spiritual beings. And when we can get past these ridiculous made up differences, we can start to tap into our gifts, tap into our magic, tap into our power, and really make contributions as a collective. How amazing will the world be when everybody gets past skin color, things like that, eye color, hair texture, or whatever, and just start working together, you know, and the life is gonna flow better. We're gonna have new creations. We're gonna have a better way of life. We're gonna feel happier. We're gonna feel more love, and it's gonna be beautiful. And it's happening now because I'm just speaking on this, sharing as I learn, sharing different things with you guys. But there are so many beautiful souls, and I hope that you are one watching this who have already come to know these things and are learning these things as we speak, or have already learned these things and are creating this new community on earth, which is more aware, more conscious, moving from a higher conscious place of just love and harmony and just truth and power, and creating a world that is in harmony with nature and not against nature, and is working with one another just from a place of love and just from a higher consciousness. So it is so let me know what you think about this video. Let me know your thoughts, and until next time, I'll see you in my next one, you guys.